taunts me because I love it. Look at it, it's so cute, but it also makes me a little anxious. So hello, hey guys, thanks for coming to watch this video today. I'm super excited that you're here and that you and I get to hang out together a little bit and talk about planning and planners. And so without further ado, I want to take you through like a walkthrough of this planner, which was the planner that I was using for a majority of the year. And then we're going to do a little planning session because I'm moving over from this planner to this planner. And why am I doing that? Because this planner was starting to overwhelm me. Like, honestly, if I'm just being completely honest with you, I love a ring planner. Like, this is a personal size rings and it's my go-to. If you've been following me for, I don't know, a little bit of time, you know that this is my go-to planner. But I also love a spiral planner. And if you cannot tell the difference here, like, look at that. This is the amount of pages in here, and this is the amount of pages in here. Now, I'm not saying I can't make this planner smaller and just use it, and just maybe use months and weeks, because I can do that, because that's exactly what's in here. But I just wanted something so simple, like just open it up. Just literally open it up, flip it, write it down like a notebook, just for a little while, just so I can have a little palette cleanser, cleanse my system a little bit.
I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first.
And so I want to say a couple of things moving forward and give you some tips when it comes to a couple things. If your planner is overwhelming you, or if you're actually thinking about moving and trying a different planner. And I want to back up a little bit and say, planning is super important. Like, there was a point in time when I was filming this video where I was like, I'm gonna film myself kind of recording everything, and I didn't have everything down, and I was kind of losing it. I'm like, oh my god, when is my ortho appointment? I actually had to like have an ortho appointment, and if I missed it, I couldn't get my braces off this month. And so I was kind of freaking out. I thought I had missed it, but it's because I didn't have it in my planner. I was just using it in my notes. So, or I was just keeping the appointment in my notes, and I hadn't written it down for September yet. So I promise you, this is like your second brain. This is your personal assistant that you wish you had. This is everything to keep you organized and less overwhelmed. So with that being said, it's important to find the right planner for you. Now, if you're using a planner like this one and you're finding yourself a little overwhelmed with all the tabs and all of the extra inserts and all of that, there's two things you can do. One, just take all of that out and just keep using the same planner, but stick to the basics for a little bit and just kind of let your brain recharge. Or simply move into something a little bit simpler, which is what I'm doing for a little while. And I could already feel like a little bit of a relief from having all of this with me that I wasn't using. So like, I'll show you in a second when we go over kind of what was in here. I tried to include like a time blocking section. I tried to include a daily section if I needed a daily section, which I barely ever use. I had notes, but as you can see, I wasn't even really using my tracker. And I knew that that was a problem when I wanted to track things, but I wasn't. And so I was mainly using my month at a glance, which is amazing. I love my month at a glance. And I was mainly using like my weeks. So because of that, I knew it was time to make a little bit of a switch and a little bit of a change. So a couple things to consider if you're trying to do that is you can just take everything that you have in one planner, keep it all set up, keep it all in there, don't move it. I actually have inserts, planning inserts all the way up until the end of the year. And so if I want to move back in here at any time, I can, no biggie. But just transfer everything over, which is what I'm doing in this video today, and just kind of get started with it and just keep this guy hanging around for a little. It taunts me because I love it. Look at it, it's so cute, but it also makes me a little anxious. So that's what we're doing in this video today. We're moving in. Actually, I'm going to show you what's in there, a little planner flip through. You're also going to get a little planning session from me, and you're going to be able to see the difference. Like, there's so much room in this guy. There's so much, the boxes are just so much bigger. It just makes my brain feel better, like it's being massaged. And then even on like the weeklies, like there's just so much room and it doesn't feel all cluttered. So when it comes to picking a planner, and I'll just mention these things just really quickly. Make sure that it's actually helping you and not hurting you. Make sure that it's something that you're going to constantly use and that it's going to be easy to use. If it's too crazy, make it simpler. If it's too simple, make it a little better. But like for me, as I share my journey with you more on this channel, I use a lot of digital aspects to planning also. I use my notes app a lot. I use a lot of Notion for different things. And so I know that everything just kind of comes naturally. And so I don't try to force anything when it comes to picking the right planner for me or using the right planner. So that's essentially what this video is about. So we're going to get into a little planning session, and I hope that you enjoy it. I hope these tips helped you, and let's roll the tape. Okay, y'all, so I'm going to share with you a little walkthrough of my personal size planner that I was using for the beginning of the year, and actually last year too. I pretty much use a personal size rings planner all the time, but I'm going to share with you just really quickly what was in here, what I wasn't liking, and why essentially I'm moving out of this planner. So when we jump in, we have some random stuff here on the side. Stickers I was using, sticky notes, all that good stuff. And then I had taken some inserts out to essentially show you guys earlier, or it's going to be, yeah, I don't know when I'm showing this to you guys in the video, but essentially the squares are much smaller in this planner than the planner that I'm currently using, the spiral sugar paper, and so that's why, one of the reasons why I moved over. I just needed some more room. And then same thing with the week on a page. You can see that like I was adding more things on than I needed in some places, and so I just really needed more room there, and also for the week. So there's that. Now I always have a picture in my planner no matter what of my babies, and I need to put one in my new planner, but I put them here in the front. And I have some dashboards. This is where I keep my sticky notes. It looks pretty crazy, but I have just like a little sticky note hub. And then we get into my monthly, or I should say my inserts. So right here on the side, I actually have July through December. I have 6 months in my planner at any given time if it's a ring planner. And so I already took out the first 6 months of the year, and now I had the other half of the year. But I went ahead and downloaded these right here. I was going to use this pretty religiously, but I ended up falling off a little bit after July because I knew I wanted to move into a different planner. So, but this is really, really nice to just have like a very awesome glance. Like a future log is great to have a glance at the rest of your year. And then I also have this guy here, which I moved over to the new planner, and this is like vacations and holidays and events and birthdays. And I just go ahead and color code and use my keys for this. Then we get into like the regular old, this is cloth and paper, just like weeks. And so we have the months and the weeks, I'm sorry. So they're already dated for me. This was July, and this is my month at a glance. As you can see, you guys, there were times where I just needed more room. My month at a glance is my workhorse. It's my most used section of my planner. I absolutely love it. Can't do anything without it. So as you can see here, there was times where if it would focus, there were times where I had to literally write in the box above it or the box below it, or just see, I had to move things down. So I really knew at some point that I needed something bigger. And so that already wasn't working for me. And then as we get into the weeks, they were okay. I mean, I feel like I didn't need a whole bunch more room, but when I did need more room, it was kind of a problem, especially when I needed more room, like on the sides where I was doing my to-dos. I would often not put all of my to-dos because I knew that there was no room for them. So that was making me leave a lot of things out. So as you can see, I'm always just kind of using my month at a glance. It's just what I use. I sometimes don't fill everything out. That's just how I plan, especially if things aren't working for me. I won't like go and rely on my planner as much as I should. So huge tip for that. If it's not working for you, you're not going to use it. So in September is when I decided to use a different planner. So I only had just a few future dates in here already. And essentially that's everything there. If I were to show you my first 6 months of the year, it would look way different than this because I was using it so much. But that's towards the end of the year is when I needed to change. So then I tried to go ahead and enter like a little time blocking situation, which I do still want to have a time blocking situation, but not like this. There just wasn't enough room for me, and it just felt very Like, I didn't like it, so I didn't go on to any of the next pages. And one thing I will say is when I have too many things in here that I'm not using, it tends to stress me out. And so I was adding things in here that I thought were gonna work. I have here just like these daily pages, and I did pay for all these inserts, so they are kind of going to waste, which I don't like. I don't like waste. You won't see me having a ton of planners because I can't have them sitting. I know, that's weird. Lots of people have lots of planners. No shame. Not calling you out. It's just personally for me, I feel like I can't do that. So I have notes and lists here. And as you can see, I wanted to use this habit tracker so bad, but I wasn't. So for things like this, I have a little sticky note that I can use, or I even tend to sometimes use habit tracking apps because it just feels so much nicer and cleaner and I use it more often. So I had that, and then I really wanted to track monthly, but that didn't happen. I also had a little cleaning insert, and that wasn't going well either. So I knew, like, it wasn't that I didn't want to use it. It felt like things were everywhere. I don't know if you have this problem, but it felt like there was things here, and there was things here, and it was like, do I track what, where, and here? And I kind of just wanted everything to be in one place. And so I started figuring that out pretty quickly. I was trying to track my fatigue also, and as well as my sleep. So as you can see, it felt like, yes, that's what the tabs are for originally, and they're, how could I say this? They're supposed to be used that way. You have this section and that section and that section, but the way that my brain was working, it just wasn't like helping me to do that and to have so many different areas to plan in. So I had great intentions for all of these things. They just did not work out. My babies, oh, my babies and my husband. So yeah, so then I have just a bunch of notes here that I would just take at random. I'm not going to go through all of this if I don't have to, because I have like mortgage stuff in here. I'm a teen mom, so I would write down all of my shirt orders in here, like closing ceremonies. I was having like some sleeping issues, so I was writing that down. My mom's schedule, just stuff that Everly tells me, fatigue. Anything that I wanted to write in here, I'd write in here, and that's what this is for. Last but not least, my babies again, and some stuff for work. Up here, my prescription from Target, some bills. So that's essentially what was going on, guys. So this is why I always recommend to analyze your planner as much as possible. Analyze what you're using, what you're not using. Analyze what's stressing you out, what you need to fix. Because I can tell you that if I don't have my planner together, my life just feels kind of crazy. I miss things. I can't complete my goals. And I just feel kind of like very chaotic in my brain. And that's just me. It helps so much. So I suggest constantly kind of reviewing what you're using and what you're not using, and maybe make a little change should you need to. So that's exactly what we did, and I'll show you what we went to and what we went with. Okay, so this is the planner that I'm actually going to be moving forward and using at least for maybe the remainder of the year. And I got this guy at TJ Maxx, as I mentioned before, and it was $9. And that was that. So I hope that you enjoyed me setting up my little 24-25 planner. This again is a academic planner. So I was able to use July all the way until literally June of next year. So if I wanted to give this bad boy like a real shot, I would use it all the way until then. Probably not going to happen. If you're having trouble picking a planner, or you just want to get into planning, you don't have one yet, or you're really just confused with everything when it comes to planning, especially after I just shared this with you, I'm going to leave a link to a free picking your planner guide that I created down below, and you just click on it and you just enter your info and you get the guide, and it'll help you kind of see the pros and the cons of each different types of planners: spiral, ring, notebook, discs. You can learn a little bit about that. You can write a little bit about what you need, and then ultimately decide what might be like your favorite planner that you can use. So hopefully that helps you. That'll be below, and thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.